policy, from my perspective, has always led the way in terms of thought leadership. अभी जो note आपका आया था in terms of efficiency-led FDI versus market-led FDI. I thought it was a wonderful piece which I shared with all the cabinet colleagues and everyone that I could share with, because there is good FDI and there's bad FDI. From our bilateral partners, the bank, the fund, their senior management, and diaspora there, foreign media, and many other interactions which were there. So it was an intense week. Some themes which you already know: trade, tariffs, AI, digital. There are about 55 people who are thought leaders, who are governors, ex-finance ministers, current finance ministers, and so I went to that group to have discussions there, and I thought it was a very interesting interaction. And of course, the big overall theme in terms of where we are in the new world order, from rules-based order to deal-based order.
So let's start off with one very basic variable we are all concerned with, which is the current account deficit, which is at the end of the day, the bottom line of the economy's register. And it's when the current account deficit goes completely off kilter, for a variety of additional reasons, we run into balance of payments problems, and then we go to the IMF to help us solve those problems. Now, this has happened 6 times since 2000.
The early signs at this point would be fatigue with the stabilization that's been underway since at least July of 2023. Now, your graphs tell us one very important thing that they're telling us that you didn't point out, but is worth pointing out, is that this is not the first time that we are going through this experience of applying the brakes on our economy in order to extinguish the current account deficit, in order to extinguish the primary balance, the deficits on the fiscal and the primary accounts, and in order to curb inflation. We've done it since over the past quarter century.
What makes the new program is different, because the new arrangement, of course, this was approved on September 25 by the IMF board, and this really kind of started from the lessons they were learned from the past decade of the fund program itself. And then with that background, there were 3 points that I can highlight. One of them is the initial condition. The second one of them is the role of provinces, and the third point is about the growth agenda. The first point is that, as I mentioned, the typical programs, they start with the crisis, but the kind of the crisis situation or the stabilization was already addressed partially by the previous program that we had last year with this 9-month standby arrangement, so that somehow kind of put the stage or the background and achieve the stability to some extent.
This is really a critical time. We're often asked, will this time be different? And as Khurram put it, we're looking for signs whether this time will be different, and whether the past trend to let go and go back to inefficient policies. And Khurram mentioned the pressure of some in the private sector, but I would say also the need to see the benefits in the population at large, which can lead to going back to inefficient spendings.
So I thought, Dr. Saab, that I could add to the discussion on 3 points. The first is to maybe build upon what you said, Dr. Saab, with regards to our macroeconomic history and the current account deficits. The second point with regards to structural reforms. And I wanted to try to share with everybody what we try to put together here, a scorecard on recent structural reforms. How much have we done over the last, say, 2 IMF programs, the one that I can count starting from 2019? And what does it say about the structural agenda going forward? What lessons do we learn from it? And the third point is, Ijaz, as you mentioned, how have other countries broken out of this cycle? Because other countries have broken out of the cycle of being a prolonged user of IMF resources. Pakistan, unfortunately, has not. So what do those lessons show us?